Hello everyone, my name is Rod Graham and this is the introduction to your course, Crime and Computer Applications. It's CYSC 409 / CRJS 409, so it will count for both cybersecurity and criminal justice. And so this is just an introduction. It's really, it's not planned. I kind of have some bullet points, but really I'm just in my home office talking to you to introduce myself and also talk about the syllabus and what the course will be about in general. I may do more of these in the future. I generally call them click and talks because, as many of you know, you've watched a lot of YouTube videos. I'll show my desktop, and as I click through content, I'll talk about it. So I guess you can call this the first of possibly several click and talks. It's really up to you. If you want me to do more of these, then I will. Okay, so let me say a little bit about, I guess I'll start with the cybercrime program because it's still somewhat new, although at this point most people know about it. But I usually give a brief introduction. So the cybercrime program is a cousin of the cybersecurity program and of ODU's criminal justice program, meaning that it's a combination of those two disciplines. So students who major in cybercrime or cybercriminology, they take courses in tech, now mainly cybersecurity, but also maybe computer science and IT, and they take a lot of courses in criminal justice. And I coordinate that program. So if you happen to come into this course and you like it and you say, well, gosh, I'd like to either double major or minor in cybercrime, please contact me. Okay, so we, as a university, we started this program because we realized, one, we anticipate a future where there will be a lot of law enforcement jobs available for people with computer skills. And so we wanted to start training people for that. That's the first thing. Second, we also realized that there were a lot of students who liked the idea of cyber and they love computers and they love computer applications, but maybe they didn't want to do a lot of heavy coding, which at the beginning of the cybersecurity program, that's what it was. It's changed somewhat since then, but that's the way it was. And so we wanted to offer something for those students. So that's how the program came about, and I'm very proud of it. I've spent a lot of time with it, developing courses, suggesting courses. And so, great, you know. And so this course is a upper level course required for cybercrime majors, and it can be electives for both cybersecurity and criminal justice. So if you register for this course or try to register and it wouldn't let you, it's because the requirement is that you take the introduction to cybercrime first. However, given the pandemic and this course moved online, it's not supposed to be an online course, I decided to waive that and I just overrode people in who wanted to take the course. So you're here now. All right, so let me say a little bit about what the course specifically is about. So it was originally what I call a sandbox course. And what that means is we would go into the computer lab, we would have a task, maybe encrypting documents. And so we would play with 3 or 4 tools that I found, and we would go through the process of encrypting documents and then maybe sharing them with classmates, just like playing in a sandbox. And so the idea would be you would play with these things, you would learn how they work, and we would either take the role of a cyber criminal or we would take the role of a computer crime investigator. And that's why it's called How to Commit a Cybercrime, because you would learn the tools that cyber criminals would use. Well, it's online now, so some of that sandbox aspect of the course has been lost. So instead, I'm giving you 1 tool, usually, sometimes 2, and you simply go through the process of completing that task. So the course has lost some of the fun aspect of it for me, but you still get to learn some of the tools used by cyber criminals and also by law enforcement. Okay, so now I'm going to switch screens here and I'm going to go to the click and talk where I look at the syllabus and I go down that syllabus and I explain some key aspects of that syllabus. So what I'll do is I'll bounce back and forth between this syllabus and your Blackboard course. But I'll start here with the syllabus. My contact information is here. I will not be on campus that much, so this is my office, but I'm rarely there. You can contact me best by emailing me directly. The cybercrime program also has a Twitter account, which I tweet occasionally. and it's usually something that I've written or some other professor in the field has written, or some news about some new virus or some interesting cybercrime. So feel free to follow. This is the course description, and I'll let you read that. I'll just say something generally about the course. I've kind of said a little bit of this earlier, and that it's a course that's about applying tools and playing with tools. The course is also self-paced, and I've provided a suggested schedule, which I'll show you here, that you can follow. You don't have to, of course. If you want to jump ahead and do assignments out of turn, that's fine. If you want to get the book and read the whole book and do all the quizzes at one time, you can do that as well. It's completely up to you. It is self-paced, but that means that it requires some discipline from you. So some students may say, well, okay, there's no deadline here, so I want to wait. You are it's your prerogative to do that, but there are no extensions in this course, and so if you wait until to the last minute and you don't complete all of it, then that's going to be on you. Now, of course, students will want some kind of evaluation. So if they do 6 assignments, they might want to say, well, how am I doing before I continue? So my plan is to grade assignments every 2 weeks and to send out an announcement when I'm about to grade. So what that means is if you want to not jump too far ahead and realize that you're doing something wrong, or you don't want to go too far ahead and then I grade it and all of a sudden you realize that you've got several low grades, well then you should kind of conduct yourself based upon my grading schedule. So maybe you do 3 assignments and then you want to wait until I grade those assignments before moving on, right? And so you can sort of plan that out because you'll know I'll be grading every 2 weeks. Now this course doesn't require a lot of tech skills. I'll jump back up to the top now. We'll be covering these topics, and in other courses this may require that you go very in depth with these courses, but not for this one. This one is more about applying these tools, and you don't need any coding or advanced knowledge of computer networking. What you do need, though, is a bit of curiosity and a sort of stick-to-itiveness. So I'm going to assume that you will be able, for example, to download and install Tor. That will require you playing with it. That's how the course was originally designed. So I don't have up any click and talks showing you how to install Tor. I'm just going to assume that a student who's in this class will be able to figure that out on his or her own. Now, it might be the case, for example, with hex editing, where, sure, you can easily either install the application or use the online application. I'm giving you the option. And things still may not be clear. Now, in that case, sure, I need to try and explain things. But I'm going to assume that the basic installation of an application, or even a browser application, so I'm going to ask you to install some things to Firefox or Chrome, you'll need to play with it and learn how to do that. So let's look at the materials here. You'll need this book. It costs $8.99 on Amazon, and you should order it now, so it might take 2 or 3 weeks for it to come, which is fine. You can work on other assignments until this book comes. This is a very good book. I like it because it's not your standard vocabulary definition, concept book. This is a working computer investigator who talks about 5 separate cases that he actually did. Of course, he changed the names of the people and the companies that he investigated, but these are real stories, and so I really like that. It's a rare book where you get to see how things actually work in the real world. So I'll be asking you to read all 5 of those cases and take a quiz for each case. Now, the materials you can read, a few things here though. So I think some students may have been able to use a tablet to complete their online course. I don't know. I'm getting that sense, but I'm not sure. But you'll definitely need a laptop or desktop computer here. All the applications that I ask you to use are either web-based, where the operating system doesn't matter, or it can be installed on a Windows or Mac operating system. I don't use Mac at all, So I cannot help anyone who has trouble with a Mac. I'm sorry about that. I've tested the applications on the Windows machine, and I also use a Linux for a lot of my work. So if a student happens to use Ubuntu, for example, which is a distribution, a Linux distribution, then fine, I can help them as well. But I can't do anything for Mac. The class also assumes that you'll be using a Firefox or Chrome web browser. This should not be a problem because Chrome is by far the most popular web browser in the world, I believe, and Firefox is in the top 3. Maybe Microsoft's web browser is second. I don't know, but I think all students will have experience with Firefox or Chrome. So these are your assignments, and I've sort of talked about the quizzes. I think I'll talk about those again now. Maybe I should do that, and then I'll talk about the assignments. So you've got 5 quizzes based on a case from that book, and if you go to the quizzes link, here's your website here, your Blackboard site. If you go to the quizzes link, you'll see them here. And the way the quizzes work is they're all multiple choice or true false, some ordering sometimes, and all quizzes are 30 minutes. And you have varying amount of questions. Here you've got 15 questions, right? So the idea is I want to give you enough time that you're not rushed, but I don't want you to have enough time to look at the question and then go find it in the book. I'm trying to get you to read first. So I think 30 minutes is more than enough time if you've read beforehand to answer a 15-minute multiple choice true-false quiz, right? So these are your quizzes. I can leave that page. Okay. Then you've got these assignments, and each assignment has its own folder on Blackboard. So you go to the assignments link. I don't need that. And let's take OPSEC, which is I think the first assignment that's going to require you to do quite a bit. So if you go to this one, in each folder you're going to have some reading material. You're going to have the assignment instructions, and you're going to have the submission link. And so you click on the assignment instructions, and then you read it, and then you answer the questions. And each question has a point value. So it's pretty standard. Almost all assignments, in fact, I believe all the assignments, have a reading portion and an application portion. And so in this assignment here, you have to install Nimbus, you have to install Tor and use it, and you have to get a encrypted email. And the way that I test that you've done this is I'll ask you to take screenshots. Some assignments also have files that you need to manipulate or evaluate or assess in some way. So I think your hashing, that's right, your hashing assignment has documents that I'll ask you to do something with, right? So those are the assignments, and there are 7 total. I've put 6 up already. This is your last one, and this is the one that will take the most amount of time. In fact, it should count the most. Yep, 20%. So I haven't done that one yet. I'm going to wait a few weeks and kind of mull this over and decide how I want you to do this, because there's some sticky issues here. This is open source intelligence, and I'm asking you to investigate a person. So I have to decide how I'm going to get that done without getting into some kind of legal trouble. I don't know, but I'll do it. I'll figure it out. So that's your last assignment. So all 6 are up, plus your 5 quizzes. Okay, you can read this, you can read this. The grading scale is a standard. An A is 100 to 93, and then A minus, B plus, B minus, you know. Submitting assignments, they all have the same format. It's a Word document. I want your name and date in the top right-hand corner, page numbers at the bottom center, and space it out a little bit, at least 1.5. It makes it easier for me to read, and I write on your documents. So having that space makes it a little easier for me to point out things. And I don't really care so much about referencing, but students sometimes want to follow a format, or they have some kind of application that automatically puts references in. So you should use either APA or MLA. Now, the course is asynchronous, and I think I'm going to start this way, holding weekly office hours. I'm going to do it for the first 2 weeks. We'll see how it goes. Currently, my office hours will be Tuesdays from 10:30 to 12 for morning-oriented students, and Thursdays from 5 to 6:30. And what I'll do is I'll start at 10:30 and I'll wait for about 30 minutes. And if I don't see anyone there, then I'm gonna start to wander off and do other things. But I'll leave the Zoom open, and so it'll just stay open for that hour and a half. And so if you pop in at 11, it's like office hours. You pop in at 11:30. I'll see you up on the screen, and then we can talk about something. I'll do this for the first 2 or 3 weeks to get students acclimated to the course, and then after that, I'll probably shift to doing click and talks, where I'll produce a video like this one and I'll upload it to the Cybercrime Program's YouTube channel, which let's go to course documents, is here. And there isn't a whole lot there yet, actually, and I think I'm gonna change my header and whatnot. But yeah, so I'll be putting the click and talks here eventually. Okay, let's see here. Oh, there's something I should mention about the grading. So Blackboard automatically generates a total points column, and students can see this. Don't use this. What I always do is I give students a course gradebook, which has been populated with some sample grades and also some. I don't think you can see this actually. Yeah, you can't see it. You'll just click on it on your own, but it's some sample grades, and then you can just change those grades to get your score. Don't use the total points on Blackboard. That can be misleading. So I'll get out of that because you can't see that. Okay. So let's see here. You've got assignments, the grading scale, submitting assignments, getting help, and then there's no extra credit. What you can do, though, is you can redo 2 assignments. So I think that's it. I think that explains what the course is about. Let me go back to the content folder or the course and make sure I'm not missing anything. I think that's it. Your syllabus, YouTube page, gradebook, required reading, your assignments, and your quizzes. So I think that's it. All right, so that ends the first click and talk, probably of a few. If you have any questions, then please feel free to email me. I usually respond within 24 hours. And I hope that you have an enjoyable semester. I hope you learn a lot in this class. And I hope that eventually I can convince some of you to become computer crime investigators.